This video is made for adult collectors because these guys rip some dude limb from limb in the film. What? Oh yeah, that's right. The seller canceled my order. Now, before I go any further, and you'll notice this during the articulation segment, I completely didn't realize that Roadbuster's wheels flip down, and you'll see my brain click finally and notice that, and it's really funny. But anyway, just to preface that, because I know someone's gonna be like, "You forgot to flip the wheels down." Anyways, video. So I've had 2 of the 3 Studio Series records and messed with the 3rd, and they were all right, but as time went on, I sort of disliked them more and more. Leadfoot's deco and feel were strange, Topspin's plastic was odd, and Roadbuster, from what I messed with, was just weird. I wasn't a fan of the transformations. Can't really say I didn't like the articulation and then say these ones are better because these are 2011 toys. The articulation wasn't standardized back then. But the reason I fell in love with these 2 was because when I finally got them, their transformations were so clever and interesting. And the biggest thing I look for in a transformation is it being satisfying. This is Roadbuster and Topspin from Dark of the Moon. Leadfoot is next to impossible to get, but one day I'm trying my best. I'm trying so hard to find one when the seller doesn't cancel my order on me. These 2 look so cool because they're made of their car bits. Normally I don't care about fake parts, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. But these 2 being made out of their car parts really helps a lot. Makes them feel more chunky and like wreckers as opposed to the Studio Series ones for me. Not to mention getting these, Leadfoot included, is probably cheaper than trying to track down a full set of Studio Series ones. But these 2 are really nice. Let's just start with Roadbuster. Roadbuster looks neat. I love the sculpting, especially the scaffolding on the legs. I dig that. I like how the front of the car folds and compresses into the chest and how the back of the car becomes like missile pods. But being an older toy, most of the top of the car is just hanging off unchanged on his back, which is kind of annoying, but eh. Mine also has loose shoulders, but I'll chalk that down to it being used. I like the head, but like, what's going on there? I have trouble trying to see what's happening in there. There's so much detail, and like the silver paint looks like it just got globbed on. It doesn't help, all the details get lost. He comes with a mech tech weapon. It's a gun that can become a chainsaw, which is very cool. And he has spring-loaded 5mm ports so they can disguise themselves. That's also really cool. However, they don't work on mine. I gotta manually push them back out. Topspin is very interesting. He looks neat. His head is kind of small, but he's tall. I love the way they did the car parts on the back and the claws. And for a toy as old as this, he has ankle tilts, but no thigh swivel 0 out of 10. I enjoy the way the blue is super prominent and how, just like Roadbuster, the car parts are used on the robot, especially in the legs, like his upper thighs are the front of the car. And the yellow is a super nice touch on the upper body. I'm a big fan of how the claws are articulated. I wasn't expecting that, and how much range the kibble chunks have on the side. You can pretty much position them however you want because they're on like a triple hinge ball joint thing. It's kind of nuts. He comes with some guns. I only have 3, and then the mech tech gun I don't have. But together they really fit well. Like, man, I want that Leadfoot. So their articulation is very different from each other, but it's also kind of neat from the things that they can do. Even though they're limited, especially this guy, he has like really interesting ways to get around said limitations. So we'll start with Roadbuster. He very slowly like teetered and then fell. So Roadbuster, you have the head is on a ball joint. He can look up that far, but like as you see, he goes up and then springs back. He can look down a little bit, left and right. Not that much tilt. This can move like that. It's also on double hinges, so you can get that out of the way. Shoulders are on ball joints. They can go out that far. You have an elbow bend. You do have a bicep swivel, though it's a bit tight on my copy, but it is there. Nothing at the wrist, nothing at the waist due to how all of this just sort of does that. So nothing at the waist. The legs can go forward that far. They can't go back because of the kibble. They can go out about that far, but then the wheels like to get in the way, and they don't really like... Oh no, they do move. They move? What the hell? Oh. Hey, guess what? I did this whole thing wrong. Let's fix that. Wow. The wheels move down. The legs go out further. I'm an idiot and didn't notice that was in the instructions. You have a thigh rotation. You have a knee bend that bends a little bit under 90 degrees, and then the ankles can go down and up. So he's a little bit fine, I guess. These bits like to not stay tabbed in at all, and this part likes to not stay tabbed in at all. So It's a little annoying. I'm chalking that down to it being used. So there is that. Now, he died. Topspin. My Walmart delivery was just delivered. Topspin. Head is on a ball joint and a hinge, so he can look up that far and look down that far. These can move. They're on a series of double hinges and a ball joint. Shoulders are on ball joints and the butterfly joint. That's due to transformation, but he has that. You have bicep rotation. You have 90 degrees in bend at the elbow. The claws can open. Nothing at the waist. However, due to his transformation, he does have shifting hips. So there is that if you want. Hips can go forward. They can go back. They can go in and out. No thigh rotation, but there is enough give in the cut to allow it to have a thigh rotation. You have double jointed knees. And the ankles can go down, they can go up, and he does have ankle pivot. So he's extremely posable for a toy that came out in 2011 with part of its budget going to a mech tech weapon. It's great. I love it. Nope, don't do the splits. There we go. I'm so miffed that I didn't know about the wheels. God damn. So yeah, that's the robots. Not the best at posing, but I much prefer these over the Studio Series ones. Now, alt modes. NASCAR. I know nothing about NASCAR. All right, now let's transform them. Who should we do first? If you've ever messed with Age of Extinction Lockdown or the ride Evac, this transformation will be very similar because those two share engineering tropes with this guy. So to start with, what we're going to do is take the entire figure and pull, and then rotate this 180 degrees, open these up, and then just fold the feet down and just leave them there like that, and then rotate the wheels back up. There we go. Now we are going to do this section. So you bring this up and in, it'll all just peg together like so. Then open this up, fold this section up and get the headlights underneath like that. Then we're going to take the legs and bring them back. Actually, rotate the head, then take the legs, bring them back. Peg them together, smoosh them in there, bring this section forward, bring this section up, forward, up, slot the arms into the torso, and there's a little hook tab on the window. You want to get that in first, then smoosh it together, then bring that down, and that's it. Really easy to do. I love flipping this thing back and forth, and it's so nice and tightly packed. Look at that. It's awesome. Now, Topspin. Take all his guns off. All the guns off. Okay. This is interesting because this is a little bit like how you would expect, kind of. This isn't. So to start with, we're going to fold these sections up and bring this up and just peg it together up here. Make sure everything is squeezed together. Now we are going to bring the head back, fold these in, and then fold this up, and then rotate the arms around, squeeze the claws together, and that's the arms done. Now the legs. The majority of the car is in the legs. So we're going to split the crotch like that, and then you're going to, actually first, before you do that, you need to rotate the waist 180 degrees, and then fold this section out. Now you split the crotch, then you fold this down and in, then you can fold the roof down and get the arms tucked into their little like spots back here. Just get them in there. Now you take the front of the car, you take the legs, you split them, fold the feet up, rotate this out, bring it around, get the front of the car in its place, and then fold this on the double hinge until it sits flush with the rest of the car. Peg it into the side. There's a hook tab right there that you want to make sure you get into the proper spot. Peg that together. And that is one side of the car. Soundwave fell over. And now I can't get his leg back on. There we go. Don't rip the leg off. Please don't do that. Hold that out. I also just noticed that this becomes like these side pipe things, which is kind of neat. But anyway, bring that up. Rotate this in. Make sure the arms are in the correct spot. Peg the whole thing together. Get the foot positioned correctly. And there you have Topspin. NASCAR. I'm an idiot when it comes to NASCAR things, but these look like stock cars, and one of them does have a lot of guns. They did the thing where one figure from each size class had no guns. Cyberverse / Legions, it was Topspin. Deluxe, it was Roadbuster. And Human Alliance, it was Leadfoot. I think that was so if you wanted a version of each character but plain, there were releases so you could get it, but then the other size classes had the ones that had guns for the ones that wanted the guns. But I feel like a run of blank deluxes and then a run of non-blank deluxes would have been better, because that way you could either choose, oh, I want the guns ones or oh, I want the plain ones. And you could have made like the plain ones a box set exclusive or something like that, so you don't have to make as many. Like, I feel like that would have been a better way to do this. I like both of these though, but they really need more branding on them. Like, Toy Hacks has you covered. Obviously, Hasbro can't pay for every single license that has to go on the toy, but they look plain. I remember people being upset of the lack of paint and the size on these guys being attributed to the inclusion of mech tech in the budget, but I think stock, they're fine. Kind of surprised they don't make Topspin a Lowe's exclusive, seeing as he has branding of Lowe's on him, and Leadfoot is a Target exclusive because he's got Target branding on him. This is a very unfunny joke, and I'm going to stop now. But I dig these cars, and they are fun little dudes. And Roadbuster is actually a good NASCAR model, and with the stickers, it elevates it. But I much prefer these personally over the Studio Series ones. Even if the Studio Series ones are hella more accurate, and their vehicle modes are very good, and they all have the guns. I don't know, I find myself messing with these a lot more than I did when I had the Studio Series ones. I definitely recommend them if you want just some interesting car formers. They aren't that expensive, so go have at it. But that's been my look at the original Topspin and Roadbuster. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.